With your latest news, I'm April Cummings. Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee reports 348 COVID-19 tests have been carried out since our last report on Monday. All are negative for SARS-CoV-2. The total number of COVID-19 vaccines administered to date is now at 65,497. So far, 35,429, which is 55% of the estimated population of 65,000, have received at least one dose of the vaccine, with 46% having completed the two-dose course. With new ministerial assignments revealed, Premier the Honourable Wayne Panton thanks the Deputy Governor for facilitating the new government's introduction to the work of the civil service over the past few days. Radio Cayman's Dion Anglin has more.
In his statement, Mr. Panton says he and his cabinet colleagues are eager to begin tackling the business of the government in a way that positively impacts our diverse constituencies. Mr. Panton says ministerial responsibilities have been aligned around the key priorities of the administration. For example, he notes the Ministry of Education will have policy continuity and a streamlined focus in a more strategic portfolio. The Premier says it is the first time in over 20 years and 6 administrations that the same minister has continued as Minister for Education. As to his own assignment, Mr. Panton says as Premier, he has also chosen to retain a smaller portfolio, which will allow him to coordinate the work of the administration. However, he has created a ministry to address the existential threats posed by climate change. Premier Panton also says that improving the lives of our people will be, quote, at the center of everything we do, which is why they choose to align responsibilities around labor and employment to tie in with the Ministry of Finance, as well as social development to benefit from innovation and inward investment opportunities. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Dion Anglin.
6 items are on tomorrow's agenda as the Central Planning Authority Board holds its last meeting of the month. Radio Cayman's Carsley Fuller has more.
Up first is Refuel with their application for a 4-unit commercial building, fuel station, generator, and underground tank along the Esterly-Tibbetts Highway, West Bay Beach South. There are objectors to this proposed development, including concerns that the area is zoned as hotel tourism, that there are already enough gas stations in the area, and potential concerns about gas fumes and the fact that a similar application was previously submitted and rejected by the Planning Board. At 11:30 a.m., the CPA will hear from NWPR Group Limited on their application for 30 apartments, a cafe, and 2 houses along Northwest Point Road in West Bay, again with objections. There's a note that this stretch of coastline has a, quote, history of coastal property damage during stormwave action by the DOE. Folks opposing the property have raised concerns about the height of the apartment buildings, the land use, parking, and road traffic safety. The third item on the agenda is an application for a house on Boggy Sand Road, West Bay South, with no objections, although there are multiple comments from government agencies with respect to the proposal. At 1:30 p.m., Lookout Holdings Limited will be presenting arguments for the approval of their application for a 441 lot subdivision with 437 house lots, 1 LPP, and 3 road parcels. There are objectors to the Boddentown development, the site of which is partially man-modified with areas of primary habitat, seasonally flooded mangrove forest. The National Trust is one of the objectors, raising concerns about the potential loss of mangrove wetland. An application for 3 apartments off Spots Newlands Road with objectors is at 2 p.m. before a final application for a canopy at 2:30 p.m. on Sound Way in Georgetown with no objectors. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Carsley Fuller.
The meeting will be held at 10 a.m. in the Government Administration Conference Room, 1030H, tomorrow. For the full agenda, head to planning.ky. 18 volunteers attended the Community Emergency Response Team training earlier this month. Radio Cayman's Felicia Rankin-Solins reports.
So what exactly is the Community Emergency Response Team? Hazard Management Cayman Islands Preparedness and Planning Officer Teresita De Silva explains.
It stands for Community Emergency Response Team, and it's basically hazard management is providing basic skills or basic emergency skills to a group of individuals in the community who find the need to enhance the resiliency of their community. So their role is really to be the first responders when something does happen, because oftentimes what we see is that emergency responders aren't able to get there as quickly as possible. So by having persons in the community who have basic fire rescue skills, light search and rescue, CPR, damage assessment, they can begin the emergency procedures until the emergency responders can respond to them.
Recently, a 2-day course took place at the Red Cross building.
This year, we did a 2-day intensive course. Often what we've done is a training course that runs the course of a couple of weeks, But we found that there have been a number of persons from various different communities that were interested in doing this CERT training. And so to provide them with an opportunity to get the training, we did a general CERT. So we allowed persons from any community to come and attend this program in April. And in this training, we taught them damage assessment, light search and rescue, fire suppression, psychosocial support, shelter management, and a number of other topics that would allow them to be the first responders.
The Cayman Islands Red Cross works in partnership with Hazard Management Cayman Islands to deliver CERT training and maintain the program. The CERT training is only just at the beginning. There are currently 6 active CERT groups established in the Cayman Islands, including teams in Little Cayman and Cayman Brac, Savannah Meadows, Prospect, North Sound Gardens, and West Bay. For Radio Cayman News, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
The Health Services Authority announced a boost to its services. Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego explains.
HSA's computed tomography CT scan service is back up and running following a temporary suspension of the service. According to HSA officials, the temporary suspension makes room for a new advanced scanner. HSA interventional radiologist Dr. Alessandro Lemos says the Revolution CT allows for lower radiation doses while capturing higher quality imaging, making the process safer than before. Scanning of challenging organs such as the heart is also easier and more efficient. Dr. Lemos says all of these benefits will result in a significantly more comfortable and safer patient experience and contribute to better patient outcomes. With the new Revolution CT scanner comes high-quality vascular studies and fluoroscopy that enables real-time image control over the entire body during interventional procedures, which officials say reduces time and radiation dose to the patient. It may also be used for CT brain perfusion for the evaluation of stroke. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
The Family Resource Center is inviting parents to sign up for their upcoming Positive Discipline Workshop.
Positive discipline is for parenting children from various ages. There are times when we do specific groups like teenagers, but in our positive discipline workshops, we gear it so that we can meet the needs of as many persons who are with various stages of development as possible.
Speaking on Radio Cayman's Talk Today, Brenda Dawkins with the Family Resource Center says they're currently running the workshops in local schools with parent-teacher associations. She says while the program is particularly beneficial for parents whose children are younger, there are still plenty of tips for those with older children and teens. The workshop is one of many on the FRC calendar.
In a week or so, we are starting our co-parenting workshop this Wednesday, and co-parenting workshop is for parents who are separated or divorced, but they are parenting the same child in different homes. So you can feel free to call us to sign up for that.
The number to call, 949-0006. That is your latest local news from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.